right, it's Thursday, everyone. I'm Andrew Dow. Time for Happening in the Hamptons podcast, our weekly breakdown of the Hamptons market, new listings, and events on the East End. We are sponsored today by New York Title Abstract, the Hamptons' leading title insurance firm. Visit NewYorkTitle.com. We have Steve Glick, Dave Rotiner, and today, Mr. Myles, Reilly. Good to have you back on the show. How are you?
It's always fun to be back in the room doing the podcast.
And and look, it's a great time of year.
It's one of my favorite times. I mean, I love the summer. I love the fall especially. But, you know, as I was driving down Butter Lane coming here today and I saw my first lawnmower this season, I said, oh, my God, it's that time of year to get
It's happening.
It got you a little excited out there. You know, I love it.
Excited.
Yeah.
And we were lucky. We had such a mild winter. We had a few cold days, but no major snow this year. So it's I think everything's going to pop early. We're going to have a lot of green and flowers soon.
See, I was saying, I think this is after spring break. It's like the official kickoff to the Hamptons. Everyone's coming up from Florida. The houses are getting opened, and the pools, the landscapers, and then it's kicking off, right? You know, right around this time. You know, so it's coming.
This is of course we're going in the spring break week, right? Like kind of like the week for spring break. I'm going away. Dave's going away. Both of us are going to Florida, different parts of Florida.
Well, I'm going on a cruise.
But my whole point is that when we come back next weekend.
You're bringing the warm weather.
It's it. It's like that's
you think
it.
The warm weather will be here?
Winter's done.
Yes.
Like
bring it
flowers,
back. Bring
spring,
back
all
the
that
warm
good
weather,
stuff.
please. Yeah.
And then, all right. So from a real estate perspective, Myles, what are you doing? You know, at spring. You know, if you got a house that you want to rent or list, or
what do you do to get it ready?
What are you doing to get ready?
Well, it's if you haven't done so already, which you should have already started, it's time to freshen up the house. You know, it's freshen up the bedrooms, get some new linens.
Smart.
You know, take a good overall inventory. Call me to come over. I'll give you my opinion. Always happy to do it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And just get the house ready so it's show shape, because you want the next 6 to 8 weeks are going to be very busy because everyone's waiting to the end this year. There's been so much going on in the world, so much volatility.
Yes.
And in a couple weeks, I'm already feeling it. Everybody's anxious to line up their summer.
Once the weather breaks, that's when people get excited and start thinking about summer. It's hard to think about, what are you gonna rent in the Hamptons this summer when it's like dead of winter and it's like cold. You're like, I don't know.
Miserable,
but once the weather breaks, like, you know what, I got to get out of the city. I want to have a nice place in the Hamptons this summer, and so I agree. I think
they need an exit strategy.
You're going to see it pick up. Yeah, it's
exactly.
definitely going to pick up for sales and for rentals. I know the rental market has been, I guess, I don't know, kind of slow-ish, but we feel like it's going to be.
What's
like
your experience with renters this year?
I think it's a little bit similar to last year, where it was strong early and then it slowed down.
Right.
And now, it's it's getting to the beginning of the end of getting ready for the summer, and then everybody's out here all at once.
What month are people looking to rent in the Hamptons mostly?
Well, it's interesting.
Or what's the most popular?
It's an early Labor Day this year. It's I'm finding July to be a very popular month this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
July's trending.
So it's a great month to be there. And if we're as lucky as we were last year, I don't know if you remember last year, June, the weather was remarkable. And the people that rented in June, I remember talking about this on the podcast, which is the most, economical month. They really lucked out. And
Because it was warm.
It was warm.
great.
On the weekends, it wasn't
gorgeous.
raining. They caught some good beach weather.
Pretty good summer last year.
Yeah.
So all right. So if you're kind of on the fence, maybe now's the time to.
It is definitely the time to enjoy your spring break with your kids and your friends and your family, and it's time to start booking your summer Hamptons rent.
What are the basics if you're renting a house? What are the most important things to do? Like get the landscapers going, get things painted. What are some key things to take care of with your house?
Power wash.
Power washing. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's most people that know they have to do it have already made those appointments,
right?
And because the Hamptons clientele are very experienced, so they're waiting for the weather to change and everybody to be back up from Florida and for wherever else they are. All the landscapers are back. It's time. They know what to do.
We're going to see a bit after the spring break. It's going to be so busy out here. I'm telling you. Everyone's been in Florida for, that's what people do. And now I know a couple people, they went down this past week. You guys are going down to get one last fun in the sun. And then it's go time. So all of us will be working around the clock
It is gonna
another
be good.
season
I think
comes.
it's funny the
Can't
people
wait.
that like go to Florida and then they get a little tired or bored in Florida, and they come back up to the Hamptons to kind of test the water. They're like, oh, maybe the Hamptons will be like a warm weekend, and then they're here for like 3 days, and then they boogie back down to Florida. Like, nope, it's not ready yet.
Yeah, it's like a pool. Like you dip
Yeah.
your toe in.
They're like, oh no,
Well, we
all right,
did
we'll be
have
back.
one day last week in the high 70s.
That was
which
phenomenal.
was
Yeah,
like
I thought
Then it was
people
like
were.
30
That's
degrees
what
last
happened.
night.
I
Yeah.
saw it like in Manhattan. Everyone was just laying outside.
it was over 80 degrees in the
bikinis
city.
and bathing suits, soaking in that sun. And then a little storm came at the end of the day. But
Good
it
old
was,
vitamin D.
It was great. People soaked up the sun.
So
That's good for you.
all right, so that's rentals. You got a nice sale option that's on the market. Let's hear about that one.
You know, inventory is picking up, and I have a house that I'm very excited about. It's a house I sold almost 30 years ago, and it's one of my favorite sales I've ever done. In that, I had this young couple come out, walk into the office looking for a charming little Bridgehampton cottage. They were, and for a year, that's what they looked at. And I just had this feeling about them. And I thought, I kind of see you in a modern vibe. And it was, I kept them telling about this one house in Amagansett. And, it had some issues with the owner, and there were some liens on it at the time. So it couldn't really sell or close. And then by time it was ready to close, they were ready.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And we walked in, fell in love, and they bought the house. So
And they lived in there for that long?
they have lived in it for almost 30 years.
Good for
it's
them.
an amazing house. It's on just shy of 2 acres, 1.95 acres. It was designed by Julian and Barbara Nesky, which they are, very famous in the modern movement. And the second we listed the house, which was almost a month ago, New York Magazine picked it up and did a story on it.
Wow.
It's a really cool house, and I'll be there this weekend for an open house.
Okay, so there you go.
It
This
is
looks
cool.
awesome.
Is this hot? Is this like elevated?
It is. It
in the
feels
back?
it feels a little bit like a tree house
I was
because
just gonna say,
it's
modern tree house.
it's exactly it's not in the ground. There's no basement, and it's got a nice bright open living room which has its dining and kitchen all open, which is nice. And then it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Really special.
Windows, skylights, a lot of good light
Everything.
comes in. It's
Yeah.
great.
They embraced this too. I love that, how they
Yeah,
decorated it.
yeah,
Like
it's
really
the
a cool
lighting,
house.
the furniture. Like they really, I could tell that they really love this house. I mean, being there for 30 years.
Well,
You know
what
that.
was wonderful is when they bought the house and they renovated it back then, they became friendly with the architects.
Oh,
And
cool.
so they they were both designers, and it's a
Where are they?
special house.
Where are they moving to now?
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
All right.
All right. Exciting.
So let's talk big picture on the market then, Steve. What do you got from?
All right, so this is
Your
the
perspective.
first week of April, and the numbers look pretty good. There were 28 listings that went into contract, which is great. Last week there were only 14, so we saw
Okay.
a huge bump there. Last year there were 25 at this time of year, so that's an increase of 12%. 2 years ago there was 16 listings, so it's an increase from 2 years ago of 75%. Breakdown of the 28 transactions this week, there was one over 20 million, one between 15 and 20, 4 between 5 and 10, 1 between 3 and 5, 5 between 2 and 3, 14 between 1 and 2, and 200 million. The dollar volume was 124 million. Last year was 83 million, increase of 49%. 2 years ago, the dollar volume was only 44 million. So we have a big increase from 2 years ago of 182%. The key takeaway this week, 41 new listings came onto the market. So another week of over 40 listings coming onto the market. That increases the inventory by 13 listings. The breakdown of the 41 new listings, there was 3 over 20 million, 1 between 10 and 15 million, 5 between 5 and 10, 10 between 3 and 5, 4 between 2 and 3, 16 new listings between 1 and 2, and 2 new listings under $1 million. Inventory is at 1,899 total listings, 1,459 active, and 440 in contract. So a great week here, first week of April. So I'm excited about that. And these are strong numbers, very steady, and we'll see where that continues.
It's amazing what can happen in just a week, though, because last week we were discussing, we were a little alarmed. We were like,
well,
"Ooh."
look, I think it goes in line with the stock market too. Some weeks you're down,
Right.
one week you're up, one day you're down, the same day you're up. So looking at these numbers, it's hopefully it just levels out all over the place. But Like we talked about earlier, real estate is still one of the best investment, right? You can't
Sure.
go wrong.
Especially with the volatility in the
Yeah.
market, real estate for the long play is always in the Hamptons is always a great place to park cash.
Well said.
No one 10 years ago is going, oh, man, sorry I bought this house. It's now worth so
Exactly.
much more.
Well, and no one 10 years. Well, that's the thing. The difference. I was having this discussion the other day, or just yesterday, I think, about the difference between stocks and real estate, because everyone was talking about the stock market yesterday. And real estate, a part of you doesn't really. You're not really bothered if the value you're bothered a little bit, but you're not really bothered if the value of the property goes down because you're living in it. It has other value besides as an asset.
Right, and you can always add to that house to make the value go up. So say the value does go down. So let me throw in a pool. Let me update the landscape, update the bathrooms. Now the value has gone back up. So there's ways to make it go up. What you have control of your own investment. Right,
but stocks, you don't do. You're not really invested in using it as something for you, anything else other than money. So it's like when it goes down, it's just like it just feels like money's been just taken right out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So real estate's an amazing thing.
So it's the beginning of April.
Yes.
And what else happens in April, Steve Glick, that is a very special...
Oh, we're going to this. Okay.
We're going there. Tomorrow, Steve, it's your birthday.
It is my birthday.
We cannot...
Steve's turning 30, the big 3-0.
Fun fact about my birthday, I was actually born on Easter Sunday.
Oh, okay.
43 years ago was on my
43,
birthday.
Wow.
So thank you all, and feels good.
Somebody said to me, 30 years ago, and when I heard 30 years ago, I thought like the 1970s. And I realize now 30 years ago is like the 90s. It's the 90s, man. Wow. That was 30 years ago.
I know, that's wild.
Crazy.
Good stuff.
You know what the barometer for me is?
Yeah. What?
Because remember Y2K?
Yeah.
And I remember, I always had this tradition. I usually would go to Europe for Christmas and New Year's to stay with friends. And that year I didn't. And I was so upset because I was looking at the ball drop and thinking, what am I doing here?
We have people that work in this office that don't remember Y2K because they weren't born.
I just can't get used to. I can't. Just getting because me and Steve, we're all the same. Me, Steve, and Andrew, Dad are all the same, pretty much the same age. We're all in our 40s, and I just can't. I can't get used to when you go on like Spotify or like your music service.
They're like classic rock.
Yeah, and it'll say like retro, and then it'll be all like 90s music.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god.
What does that make like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
That was classic rock when I was in high school.
Yeah. Or you go to the gym
ancient rock.
You go to the gym and somebody's listening to like Dr. Dre or something. They'll be like, oh yeah, I love this old school stuff, and you're like, what do you mean? That's now.
For this weekend, since it's Friday and it'll be your birthday tomorrow, what are you doing to celebrate?
That's a good question. I think tomorrow, we're going to go to St. Ambrose in Southampton and have a nice lunch, afternoon delight. This weekend, it's we're celebrating Passover on Saturday, so we're going to be with a lot of family and friends this weekend. Celebrating the Passover on Saturday, and I think Sunday is up in the air. I mean, maybe there's a surprise coming, but I don't know. But it's a day of doing nothing on Sunday.
Okay. That's okay too. Well, I'll be in Amagansett on Saturday from 11:30 to 1 at Timber Trail, 43 Timber Trail. And then on Sunday, I'll be in Bridgehampton on Kellis Pond Lane. I have a great house over there available for rent. 6 bedrooms, 6,500 square feet, flexible to a 7th bedroom with the pool, south of the highway.
I love Kellis Pond.
Available
I love that.
Summer or year round.
Great location.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good deal. Dave, what do you got this weekend?
Well, this weekend, so Steve, it's
Steve's
Passover.
birthday.
It's Passover on Saturday.
Yep.
So L&W Market, they're doing a whole to go thing for Passover. So if you want to get your matzo ball soup and deviled eggs and all of those amazing, delicious Jewish foods that we all know and love.
They're the best.
Yeah. Gefilte fish, they got it. You can get it. So anyway, L&W Market has it, and of course, I got to give a shout out to Citarella for that, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Other things happening is we got Easter egg hunts galore in the Hamptons. We have Easter egg hunts galore. So There's going to be a See Me Easter egg hunt for 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's $10 for members, $30 for non-members, and the Easter Bunny is going to be there. So that will be cool. And then the LVIS Easter egg hunt in East Hampton. LVIS is the Ladies Village Improvement Society. It's this really beautiful old historic building right in the middle of town, and there's like a huge grass area. It's a lot of fun. They put together a really great Easter egg hunt there, so you can go do that. That's on Saturday, rain or shine, at 11 a.m.
They have a great shop there.
And they have a great shop.
That shop, there's
Yeah.
some really
you get like a
good
Louis
stuff.
Vuitton belt there for like $30.
Yeah,
you know?
you need silverware, you need dishes, you know.
Yeah. Well, because people donate their things there.
I have clients when they sell their houses. I have one doing it right now who's donating.
They give their whole thing. They must have
They're
like
great.
warehouses of stuff. And then there's one more Easter egg hunt in Amagansett that I see here. That's at 12 p.m. And that's at 26 right in Amagansett, and they're doing at the Amagansett Youth Park, or the Parks and Recreation Department are putting that together. So there's a lot of things for Easter happening in the Hamptons this week. And then for dining, I always like to ask the guests what their favorite restaurants are. So go ahead.
And what do I always tell you? I love to cook. I'm a homebody. I love having friends over. I'm a big cook.
All right. So he's a big cook.
Okay.
So all right, fine. Well, that just ruins my whole question, because don't people want to go? Where would you go if
He still goes out.
you physically couldn't cook?
I still go out, but not as much as I love to cook from home. You know what? Actually, one of my old favorites is the American Hotel.
Oh, the
I
best.
love
Great
Sag Harbor,
choice.
the
Everybody
American
loves
Hotel.
Sag Harbor.
Love
Well,
having dinner there, walking out, maybe doing something at Bay Street beforehand.
They do a good job over there. I like
Yeah.
that spot.
well, if you like fresh seafood, the big restaurant news this week is the Clam Bar opens this weekend on the Nat Peak stretch. So you can go there and sit in the freezing cold and eat
Awesome.
raw clams with lemon and just
great.
enjoy and a beer.
Summer,
and
man. I just
enjoy
love it.
life. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
all
yeah.
these restaurants now opening up one by one.
Yeah.
Get ready for the season.
So that's what's going on in the Hamptons. Did you want to bring any? Do you? No. Okay. Yeah. So that's what's happening this weekend in the Hamptons.
Good.
Oh, you know what? One more thing.
There it
I
is.
want to wish the cast and crew of Smash in New York on Broadway. They open tonight,
Ooh.
so we're sending them a lot of love.
Nice.
And any Smash fans out there, they've wanted to come to Broadway forever. It's now there. Go see it.
Exciting.
Wow.
All right. Smash.
Cool.
All right, let's end on that note. Myles, thanks for joining us. And,
Always good to see you guys.
Enjoy the spring. Get ready for summer. Until then, are we doing a podcast next week?
Next week we're taking a break.
All
You
right,
guys
taking
are
a
on
break.
vacation.
Yeah,
Come
all right.
on.
I didn't know if I was like calling in remote or what we were doing. So, all right.
2 weeks.
So we will be back.
Drinking a pina colada.
And 2 weeks is, I think, the 24th. All right, we'll be back then. Until then, everyone, have a great day. Have a great next week. I'm Andrew Dowd, and that's what's happening in the Hamptons.